Are you ready to be in the spotlight? Are you ready to share your story with the world? Well, Snails with No Shells is where you need to be. Available on all digital platforms, Facebook, and YouTube. Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Where did we go wrong? We were doing so well. Is it just my imagination? Or is it just insanity for me to constantly yearn for that deep soul feel love, that protective, connective kind of love, that I love you 'cause I want to. Kind of love. Greetings, beautiful ones. I am Ms. BJ Martin, and this is Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. It's okay to be a slug for a little while. All right. Now, without further ado, I'd like to bring my special, amazing guest, as you all will see, to the stage. Dr. Madeline Lewis.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining Snails and No Shells. We appreciate you.
Wow, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yes, me too. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so Dr. Madeline Lewis is President, CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute and creator of the online course, Crack the Career Code. Unlock the amazing power within to lead with confidence. Ooh, I love it. No, wait a minute. She's not even finished. Lead with confidence, charisma, and credibility. Yes, she's the host of the Success for Women radio TV show, career strategist, international Tedx speaker, international TEDx speaker. Yes, we're going to get into that a little later. Trainer, author, and business consultant. Yes, I need a hand clap machine.
Where's my little clapper? Where's my clapper?
Yes. That is amazing. Wow. All right.
Thank you for the intro. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So, Dr. Madeline, where were you born and raised?
Well, I am actually from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Wow.
Yes. Currently living 1,100 or so miles away in Maryland, but that is where I hail from, New Orleans, Louisiana.
All right, y'all heard it live and direct.
Yeah.
And how was it growing up in Louisiana?
Well, you know what? Down south, it was the South. So as a child, my mother and our family, they were very protective of us, but you know, it was great. I mean, I was in my own little world. I had fun. You know, I was a happy child. I was into everything. You know, I was into swimming and bowling. I mean, I did taekwondo. I was into a lot of different things because my mother always encouraged me to, you know, just to do things, to be out there and just to get involved. And so I did. So for me, it was great growing up in Louisiana. It really was. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And so when did you wind up moving to Maryland?
I came to Maryland in 1989 because of a job transfer. And so yes, I decided that I wanted to stick throw my hat in the ring for a supervisory position, and the position took me out of New Orleans. And I tell you what, it was during at a time actually when New Orleans was going through economic problems. You know, it was the economy wasn't that good. So
Okay.
and I moved up to Washington D.C. and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Oh wow. Ooh, the weather. It get cold up there.
That is the thing.
Ooh,
That was
I'm
a
like, oh
culture shock for me. Coming
yes.
from the
One
South where it was
extreme to
hot
the
and
other.
humid
Yes.
to up
Yes.
here where we had snow, I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? But you know, you get used to it. You
Yes.
definitely get used to it. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, yes, because I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
'Cause I'm
Okay.
originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I remember all that snow and
Oh
being
yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
miss that. Only thing I
Uh,
miss is like wintertime around
mhm.
Christmas, playing the
Yeah.
snow. That's about
Yeah.
it.
And that's what, up here, people always say when around Christmas time, oh, I hope it snow. I want a white Christmas. And I'm thinking, oh no, I don't hope it snow. I don't want a
Right.
white Christmas. Okay.
Oh
But,
wow, yes.
mhm, yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Madeline, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, you know what? It's funny because I always wanted to work in an office. And my mother used to tell me, one of the things she used to say to me, I want you to work in an air conditioned office.
Mhm,
She said, because I guess because it was always so hot in Louisiana and New Orleans. And
mhm,
she always said, y'all, I want you to work in an air conditioned office. So I guess I took that literally, thinking, I want to be a secretary. I want to make sure that I'm in a nice air conditioned office and everything. But I tell you what, once I got into that, being a secretary, my first job, kind of good job, I guess, out of
mhm,
school, I was a clerk typist. And then I got promoted into the steno pool at where I was. And when I looked around and I saw all those ladies sitting there and they had been there for like 15 years doing the
mhm,
same thing, I thought, oh no, this is not for me. Nothing against it. Okay, if they happy with it, that's
mhm,
fine. But
mhm,
it was not for me.
mhm.
And that's when I started looking and kind of venturing out and wanting to do other things. Of course, still, being where I could be in that air conditioned office. But
Right.
I wound up going. I went into the military for a little bit, and I also did other things. But I even did, believe it or not, I even did surveillance. I even worked as doing surveillance. I used to tell people I got paid to mind other people's business. I would be following people around. But it was I guess what I wanted to be, what I thought about being when I grew up, was to be a secretary, working in the office,
Mhm.
and just doing that. I used to, even as when I was younger, growing up, I used to collect papers and just pretend that I was working in the office and I was doing all this high powered paper stuff,
Yes.
pushing moving papers. and,
Yes.
and that and that was actually what I had dreamed of being when I grew up. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things turn out different though. I
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah, they
life
do.
life changes.
Life, yeah, and then nothing you could do about it, but go
Yeah.
with it, really,
Life
really.
changes. Yes, it
Wow, so let's
does.
talk about just for a couple of minutes, the military, which branch, were
I
you in?
was in the army
Okay.
for 22 years,
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
yes, for 22 years I was in the army, and I reached the rank of sergeant major, and I retired right after because my mom had she took sick, and I was kind of back and forth between the military and going home, and so it got to the point, because I was the commandant of a unit, I couldn't keep, I just wasn't giving the army my best at that point. And so
Okay.
I decided to put in my retirement paperwork. And it was funny because my when I put the paperwork in to retire, and I kept waiting and waiting for my paperwork to go through, and so I could sign off on it, and
Mm,
it took a minute. And so finally I went to the colonel and said, sir, I put in my paperwork and I haven't seen anything. And he looked at me, he said, "Oh, I just thought you wanted to take a little time off and then you would come back." I said, "No." I said, I really need to, I had to focus on my mom at that time. And I told him, I said, I can't be a sergeant major and be in the unit. And at that rank, you have soldiers following you, and I'm not there. So I
Okay.
just didn't feel like I needed to continue on in that, in that position. I needed to retire at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. See, that's amazing. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Wow. Wow. All right. So let's get into your authorship. Let's talk about more about your book.
Mhm, mhm. Well, I did two books. The
Okay.
first book that I did was called Playing from the Blue Tea: Women in the Federal Government. And with that book, I did research. I interviewed 20 women in and around the Washington, D.C. area that were in executive level positions because I wanted to find out how they got there, how they
Mhm.
stayed there, the obstacles they faced while
Mhm.
in those positions. And from doing that research and talking to these women, oh, it was phenomenal. And I was able to write that book from that. And then my next book actually was Finding Your Best Inside: How to Persevere and Become the Person You're Meant to Be. And
Mhm.
I actually wrote this book. It was more for me after
Mhm.
my mom passed because I just needed something. You know how sometimes you just have so much inside of you and you have to release it some type of way. And
Yeah.
so this book was written after she retired, and it was also dedicated to her,
Oh,
to
that's
my mom. So that's why I wrote that book.
oh, beautiful. Do you mind reading just a small piece, a little snippet or?
Well, I in one of the things I wrote, and this is something that she used to tell my sister and I all the time,
Mhm.
that anything is possible.
Mhm.
And so that's one of the chapters in the book. Anything is possible. And I started off by saying perseverance, determination, and belief in yourself. And I said, in making your plans, make them big. One of the biggest obstacles to success is underestimating our own ability. We dream of a goal, we wish for something, but many of us do one of two things. We believe the goal or destination is unattainable, and so never make any preparation in first place, or we make the preparation and start on the journey towards our destination, but drop out mid journey. We give up. And I that was because she, like again, she was always encouraging and pushing. You can do anything that you set out to do.
Mhm.
Even though she said, "I want you to work in an air conditioned office," to her, that at that time when I was growing up, that would be a big accomplishment for a
Mhm.
little black girl to be working in a nice air conditioned office,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so she always motivated, she always encouraged, she always pushed me. Like I said, I did a lot of things growing up. The swimming, I was in a swim team. I bowled, I did taekwondo, and these were things because she never limited me and said to me, "No, you can't do this," or "You can't do." It was always, "Yes, you can do it." The only way you can't do is if you tell yourself that you can't, and then you've already put yourself out of the game. So,
Mhm.
but that's a part of this book, just because of some of the things that she taught me and some of the things that I learned from her.
That's beautiful. Hold it up again so they can see what the book looks like. Looks like.
Finding your best inside: How to Persevere and Become the Person You're Meant to Be.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so where we going next? We going to the coaching or we going into TED Talk? Like, where we going
Hey, it's up to you, whichever one you want to go with.
I want to say the TED Talk for last. So let's go to the so you're coaching.
Okay.
No, and wait a minute. Then you have your radio TV show. Dr. Madeline. Wait a minute. Okay, let's go with the coaching.
Okay.
Go with the coaching.
So, The coaching actually started because because I had, as I was in the military, and then when I came out and I was in corporate America, I was in the federal government. I worked for civilian federal government and all in these positions. I I guess I was always one of these people that, I always saw more. When I get in at one level, I always wanted to go to that next level. And so I was always, rising or in my career. And in the military, I had women coming to me wanting to know, how did you get promoted to that level? How do you keep getting promoted? Because I was in a lot of units that were male dominated.
Mm,
For a female to get to the rank of sergeant major as I did, and I was in like civil affairs units. Civil affairs is mostly men. I was in a transportation unit, mostly men, and so, but I always made sure to get the knowledge, to get
mm,
do the requirements, the things that I needed to do to ensure that whenever they looked at my promotion packet, they saw something different. There was something extra in there. And I always did that throughout my career. And so women came to me and they wanted me to help them to look at their promotion packet. And even when I was working in the civilian federal government and in corporate America, same thing. They wanted me to look at their promotional packets or do mock interviews with them. And
mm,
because of that, that is why I created my organization, so that I could help more women on a larger scale. And so that's how I created one of my coaching programs. Was created because of the research that I did from the book, where I
mm,
interviewed the 20 women. That's the eight, and I call it the 8 habits of highly successful women. And that's a program that I put women through to show them just how they can pull out their own potential in themselves. It's theirs. Stop limiting yourself. Stop holding yourself back. Stop shrinking back. Stop sitting
mm,
at the back of the room. When you go into that room, you sit at the table, sit at the front of the table, you know, and because your goal is to own that table and
mm.
maybe one day own the building.
That's
Okay.
true.
And
Yes.
so that is what I want, like to do in my coaching programs is definitely pulling out that potential, showing women their abilities, their skills, and letting them know, hey, don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough,
Yeah.
because you are.
Mhm,
With women, one of the things I've always noticed with women throughout my career, and it's also a study by the Harvard Business Review, is
mhm,
that Harvard Business Review says that men will apply for a position if they meet only 60% of the requirements.
mm.
Women, we will only apply for a position if we feel we meet 100% of the requirements.
Mm.
And that has got to
Wow.
stop, because
Mhm.
the thing about it is, you'll look at that posting and you'll say, oh, okay, like the men look at it and they say, oh, I have this and this, but I don't have this and this, but they still put their information in and apply.
Right.
Women will look at it and say, oh, I have this and this and this and this, but I don't have these last two. And so then they think, well, I'm not qualified. Yes, you are qualified.
Mm.
I remember I had a person to tell me one time, when I was putting in for a position, and I went to her and I was telling her I wanted to do this and I was asking for advice. And she told me, she said, when you apply for a position, you make it sound like you can walk on water. She said,
Mhm.
and I'm not telling you to lie about anything. She said, but everything that you've done, you make sure that you put it in there, because your goal is to get into that interview and make sure that they notice you. And then she said, because once you get the position, you can learn the position. Even if you don't know everything, nobody will know everything about any position
Right.
that they get. And
Right.
you can learn. And what you don't know, then you bring people in that have that expertise, that can do what you don't know. And she said, you
Mhm.
should know a little bit about everything that goes on in your department, but
Mhm.
you don't have to be an expert in everything, because that's what other people that have that expertise are for. Yeah.
Right, right. That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking. You're gonna get trained on the job training.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that, those statistics, those numbers. Wow, that is so
Oh,
interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Wow.
why a lot of women sometimes they say, "Oh, I can't apply for that because I'm not qualified." They look at,
Right.
yes, you are qualified. If they have 2 or 3 things on there that's in your background, that's in your bio, that's in your resume, you are qualified. So throw your hat in the ring.
Yes,
Yes.
I love
Mhm.
that. Oh, yes. Thank you for that. Boy, that's amazing. That is. That is.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, so now let's get into your TV show.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Talk about that.
The TV show is the Successful Women radio and TV show, and it is on the Women for Women Network and Talk for TV, and it airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the show, what I wanted to do was to create a show that for women, of course, that where they can see I bring on guests that are doing different things and I bring them on to talk, to share their story and to tell us how they did it again, how they got there, to
Mm,
show other women that there are women out there doing what you might want to do. So don't feel like you can't do it, because if they can do it, you can do it too. Don't
right.
limit yourself. And so that's what the show is all about, to motivate, to encourage, and to also provide resources for women so that they can keep moving and not feel stuck, not feel frustrated, and not feel like they can't do something that they have a passion for or
Mhm,
just have been wanting to do for years and just haven't done it because they don't feel like they're worthy or they're good enough or they
mhm.
might fail. And so what? But you'll never know if you don't try.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, I was thinking that air conditioned office, honey. You were just too big for that office. Oh my gosh, you've done so much in your life. Yeah, that little office was gonna
Because I was always a curious one. If I got in an organization, and this is one thing, you need to know is when you work somewhere, you need to know all about them, and that's what the
Mhm,
website is for. Their website will tell you everything you need to know. I
mhm,
remember I worked at one time. I worked for an organization, and I got on their recruitment team. And people ask me, how did you get on their recruitment team? I didn't even know they had a recruitment team. I said, I don't
mhm.
know why you didn't know, it's on the website.
Right.
you know,
Right.
but if you don't do your research, if you don't
Mhm.
find out about that, if you're working for an organization, you need to know what they're all about and what they do. You know, and if again, recruitment team, they didn't have a whole lot of people that look like me going out
Mm.
on that recruitment team, and that's why I wanted to be on it. That
Yeah.
is exactly why. Hmm.
Yes, busting down doors, breaking barriers, and all that good stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
All right. So let's get into the TED Talk. I love it. I've been waiting for this part. Let's go.
Um, well, yes, I did a TEDx talk in December, actually on December 4th. And I went to Canada. I was invited with the TEDx talks. You have to be invited,
Mhm,
recommended to be on that platform. I mean, they're all over the place. They're all over the world. I mean, I just so happened the lady that invited me was in Canada,
mhm,
and I was not going to say no. But I tell you what, it was interesting. It was a journey, and it was a learning lesson for me, because you don't just think you're going to write a speech and then just step on their stage.
mhm,
That's not the way they do it. They put you through training. They have a format, how they want the speech written, how they want the opening, about how they want the middle, the closing, and all of that. You have to, of course, be in their theme. But if in your speech, if even during the rehearsals, after you've done it and you've recorded it, your speech can still not be accepted through TED, because the TED is the actual overall. TEDx is under TED, and it's usually organized by different organizations or individuals who are licensed under TED to have TEDx talks. And
Mhm.
so if when you do a TEDx talk, like I did mine in Canada, it still has to be submitted to TED for them to approve it.
Oh,
And if they don't approve it, no one will ever see it. I know some friends of mine who did do a TEDx talk, and theirs was flagged and it was never approved. And the
mm,
thing about it, if it's flagged, then they don't do the, oh well, can I appeal it or whatever. If they
right.
flag it, it's for whatever reason they flag it. Maybe something you said in it, it may be something you said and you didn't fully explain it, so they don't want, because TEDx talks go out in the world.
Yeah.
And that is what they want to do, is to get that message, as far out into the world as they can. And so that's why they look at every video, every recording that's done. They look
Mhm.
at it first before it's approved and before they upload it on their TED website. And so the fact that I was able to do this and have it approved, oh my goodness,
Mhm. Yes.
it was just incredible for me. But it, like I said, the whole process that they put you through and everything, the journey, it was really a learning experience. It really taught me how to write a speech do when I have to go and speak somewhere else.
Mhm.
It makes me now think more about how I'm putting together a speech to go and do a speaking engagement. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Hmm.
awesome. Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm trying to get my video over that 10,000 plus mark. I'm actually last time I looked, I think I was at over 7,000. So
Yes,
yeah,
we gotta
so
get it out there. So where can we find the video so we can get those views up?
well, actually, the video, as I said, it's on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube, put in TEDx Talk dash, and then put my name, Dr. Madeline Lewis, then mine will come up. It'll be the first one up, so that you won't have to scroll down and try to find it. You'll be able to find my talk. So make sure if you do go out there and look for it, view it to the end, then comment on it, like it, and share, share, share.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get these views up
Yes.
for Dr. Madeline. She's been out here, as you can see, she has been on a mission. She is changing lives. So we have to
Oh,
support
yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so amazing. I know you have about 3 more hours worth of things that we could talk about that you have accomplished, but I got to cut it down.
Look, I understand. I understand. And I
Yes,
just appreciate you for having me. I really
yes.
do.
Thank you
Yes.
for coming. So before we go, give us, maybe a quote or a word, a piece of advice, or something that you'd like to leave with the audience.
Well, I would say, or I would, kind of just say what my mother always told us, is to make sure when you have a goal in mind, something that you really want to do, don't give up on it. Don't give up on your goals. Don't give up on your dreams. And also, as you're moving up, make sure to pull someone else up with you,
Mhm.
because women, that is the one thing we need to get better at, is supporting each other. And that's why I said we need to learn how to build these support networks. So make sure you support other women as you're moving up, or as you're doing whatever, even in business, support them so that we can all just keep moving. Because as women, when we show up, we can rise up.
Mhm.
And when we do that, everybody wins.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was beautifully said. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you.
you for being on Snails with No Shield. I really, really do.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And congratulations on your show. I
Thank
wish you
you.
much, much, much success on it.
Thank you. I'm
Yes.
full of gratitude. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so before we go, I just want to say, everyone, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes,
And
yes, yes,
thank
yes.
you for watching this show. And remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love you.
Bye bye.